There's a quiet pain that many parents, especially seniors, carry deep inside, a pain that's rarely spoken about, but felt every day. It is the ache of being disrespected by your own children. Maybe they roll their eyes at your advice. Maybe they ignore your calls, speak to you with entitlement, or treat you like a burden instead of a blessing. The very people you sacrificed everything for now seem distant, dismissive, and even cold. If this sounds familiar, know this: you are not alone, and you are not powerless. Respect is not something that fades with age. It is something that must be demanded, not with shouting or guilt, but with strength, self-respect, and strategy. This video is your wake-up call, because when your children don't respect you, the worst thing you can do is keep begging for their attention or bending over backward to stay relevant in their lives. That only deepens the cycle of disrespect. You've lived too long and seen too much to be treated like you do not matter. This is the moment where you begin to take back your voice, your presence, and your authority, not through anger, but through wisdom, calm action, and boundaries that speak louder than any words. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful, practical, and life-changing ways to regain respect from your children without destroying the relationship. These are not generic tips. These are proven principles rooted in psychology, health, confidence, financial independence, and self-worth. If you're ready to stop being disrespected, if you're ready to stop feeling invisible, and if you want to live the rest of your life with dignity and peace, then listen closely. This is your guide to taking your power back, starting today. 1. Reclaim your health and vitality. One of the quickest ways to lose respect, especially from your children, is to appear fragile, dependent, or mentally checked out. It's not fair, but it's reality. When they see you slowing down, giving up on your body, or neglecting your health, they subconsciously assume you're no longer in control. But when you reclaim your health and vitality, everything changes. You move from the one who needs help to the one who still leads. Start with your physical health. You do not need to become a bodybuilder at 60 or 70, but you do need to move. A 30-minute walk every day, light resistance training, stretching, and breathing exercises. These habits sharpen your posture, increase your energy, and reduce dependency. Your physical presence speaks volumes before you even open your mouth. Looking strong and feeling strong makes others treat you with respect because you project capability and discipline. Then, focus on your nutrition. Ditch the processed foods, cut the sugar, eat clean, whole meals. Prioritize lean proteins, colorful vegetables, healthy fats, and hydration. When you nourish your body with intention, it shows in your skin, your eyes, and your energy levels. You stop looking like someone who is slowing down and start looking like someone who's just getting started. Mental sharpness is just as important. Train your brain. Learn something new weekly. Read. Take online courses. Practice memory games or puzzles. Stay current with the world, not to impress your kids, but to challenge yourself. When your children see that you're engaged with life, that you have opinions, ideas, and passions, they begin to view you as more than just mom or dad. You become a force again. Also, do not ignore rest and recovery. Prioritize deep sleep. Take supplements like magnesium or omega-3 if needed. Practice mindfulness or short meditation. Stress and fatigue make you reactive. Rest makes you strategic. You cannot command respect if you're always overwhelmed. This is not about vanity. This is about power. When you care for yourself, mind, body, and spirit, You become someone others naturally respect. Your presence becomes impossible to ignore. Your children may not say it out loud, but when they see you thriving physically and mentally, it forces them to re-evaluate how they treat you. You are not invisible. You're evolving. Let your transformation speak louder than your frustration. When they see you walking tall, living with energy, and owning your health, they will follow your lead, whether they admit it or not. 2. Strengthen your mental and emotional boundaries. Respect begins with boundaries. If your children speak to you with sarcasm, ignore your presence, or treat you like an afterthought, it's likely because somewhere along the way, clear boundaries were never established or slowly eroded. But here's the truth. You can reinforce them at any stage of life. It starts not with confrontation, but with clarity and consistency. You must first understand what you will and will not tolerate. That means taking an honest look at your current dynamic. Are your children constantly interrupting you, disrespecting your time, criticizing your choices, or taking advantage of your generosity? Write it down. List the specific behaviors that make you feel disrespected. This becomes your foundation. Next, communicate calmly but firmly. The most powerful people speak with few words, but those words carry weight. Sit your children down and say exactly what needs to be said, without guilt or anger. I've allowed certain behaviors in the past, but that ends now. From this point forward, here's how I expect to be spoken to. Here's how I expect to be treated. If that's not possible, I will not engage. You are not asking for respect. You are commanding it through action. And that means following through. If they raise their voice, you end the conversation. If they mock or minimize you, you walk away. No arguments, no drama, just quiet, firm action. Boundaries are only as strong as your commitment to them. This is not about being cold or cutting off your children. It's about resetting the power dynamic. You are still their parent, not their emotional punching bag or their convenience. You raised them, supported them, and sacrificed for them. That means something. And if they cannot recognize that, they need a wake-up call. Not through punishment, but through your self-respect. Also, avoid oversharing your emotional struggles with your children, especially adult children who may lack the maturity to handle them. Instead, lean on a trusted friend, counselor, or support group. Children are not meant to be your therapist. When you shift emotional responsibility back to yourself, you appear stronger and more balanced. That inner strength commands respect silently. And never beg for love, validation, or attention. When you try to earn your child's approval by doing more, giving more, or being overly agreeable, you teach them that your worth is negotiable. It is not. You're not just a parent. You are a full human being with limits, emotions, and dignity. Act like it, and they will notice. Setting boundaries will feel uncomfortable at first, especially if your children are used to pushing past them. But stay steady. In time, they will either rise to meet your standards or distance themselves. Either way, you win. Because living with self-respect will always feel better than living for someone else's approval. 3. Lead by example. Be the role model you want them to see. One of the most powerful ways to regain respect from your children is through personal integrity, leading by example. If you want your children to respect you, you must demonstrate the qualities you wish to see in them. Actions speak louder than words, and a life lived with purpose and integrity will always command respect, even in the most challenging times. Ask yourself, are you living the life you want your children to emulate? Do you uphold the values you teach? It's easy to preach about respect, hard work, or responsibility. but it's far more impactful when you live those values. If you expect your children to show respect, demonstrate respect in your own behavior, toward them, toward others, and toward yourself. Take care of your physical and mental health. Make time for regular exercise, eat nourishing foods, and practice mental wellness techniques. If you want your children to value their health and well-being, show them that it matters by making your health a priority. Respect your body and mind, and they will learn to respect theirs as well. Next, be a constant example of emotional control. When your children push your buttons, don't react with anger or frustration. Instead, choose calmness. Show them how to respond to stress, disappointment, or confrontation without losing your cool. Your ability to regulate your emotions teaches them how to manage theirs. Financial responsibility is another crucial area where you can set an example. Are you managing your money wisely, avoiding unnecessary debt, and planning for the future? If you want your children to respect your financial decisions, they need to see you act responsibly with your own finances. Show them that you take your financial independence seriously, that you live within your means, and that you plan for the future. Teach them through your actions, not just your words. Furthermore, always be honest and transparent. If you make mistakes, and we all do, admit them openly. Don't try to hide your flaws or pretend to be perfect. Being honest about your shortcomings teaches humility and vulnerability, which are signs of strength, not weakness. It shows your children that it's okay to be imperfect and that personal growth comes from acknowledging where you need improvement. Also, demonstrate kindness and generosity, not only to family members, but to everyone you encounter. Whether it's holding the door for a stranger or volunteering for a cause you care about, your actions show your children the importance of empathy and generosity. You're not just teaching them to be respectful, you're teaching them to be kind, thoughtful, and compassionate individuals. Lastly, take responsibility for your actions. If you've made mistakes, apologize sincerely. Own up to your errors without deflecting blame. Acknowledge how your actions may have impacted others, including your children. This vulnerability shows maturity and self-awareness. Children respect a parent who takes responsibility for their actions, who isn't afraid to say, "I was wrong." When you live authentically, with integrity and consistency, your children will take note. Even when they seem resistant or distant, they are learning from your example, whether they admit it or not. This is how respect is built, not through demands, but through actions that embody the very principles you wish to instill in them. 4. Open communication. Create a space for honest dialogue. If you want to regain respect from your children, communication is key. However, it's not just about talking to them, it's about creating a space where open, honest, and respectful dialogue can happen naturally. Building respect through communication means creating an environment where both you and your children feel heard, valued, and understood. Start by actively listening to what they have to say. Too often, parents speak at their children rather than to them. To truly communicate, you need to listen without judgment, without interruption, and without jumping to conclusions. Give them the space to express their thoughts and feelings, even if they differ from yours. When children feel that their voice matters, they begin to respect you in return. Another important factor is validating their emotions. Even if you don't agree with their perspective or reaction, acknowledge their feelings. For instance, if they are upset or frustrated, simply say, "I understand that you're feeling angry right now." This shows that you see them as individuals with their own valid emotions, not just extensions of your expectations. Respect is built when you recognize their emotions and help them navigate them with understanding. It's also important to make sure that communication isn't one-sided. Often, parents fall into the trap of constantly giving instructions, correcting behavior, or expressing frustration without inviting their children to share their side. This can lead to children feeling like they don't have a voice or are not respected. Instead, foster a two-way communication channel. Ask them how they're feeling, what they're struggling with, or even what they think about situations that concern the family. This kind of approach makes them feel valued and respected, which in turn fosters greater respect toward you. When you engage in honest communication, be transparent about your thoughts and feelings as well. Don't be afraid to admit when you're struggling or when you don't have all the answers. This transparency fosters trust. If you hold yourself back or pretend to know it all, your children may feel that they are not allowed to express their own vulnerabilities. Share your experiences, explain why you made certain decisions, and even talk about your own mistakes and lessons learned. This not only strengthens your relationship, but also teaches them the importance of honesty and openness. Remember, the language you use matters. Avoid negative language, condescension, or sarcasm. Respectful communication is about using a tone that is calm, patient, and empathetic, even when discussing difficult topics. Negative or belittling language can drive a wedge between you and your children and decrease their respect toward you. If you want them to treat you with respect, ensure that your words and tone reflect that same level of respect. Consistency in communication is also vital. If you only talk to your children about important matters when you're upset or frustrated, they may begin to associate communication with negativity. Instead, keep the lines of communication open on a daily basis. Check in with them regularly, not just when there's a problem. This helps maintain a positive, respectful connection, ensuring that when you do need to address difficult topics, they are more likely to listen. By fostering open, honest communication, you create a foundation of mutual respect where both you and your children can thrive. This is one of the most effective ways to rebuild respect, especially in situations where the relationship has been strained. 5. Lead by example. Demonstrate the respect you expect. The most powerful way to regain respect from your children is by leading by example. You cannot expect your children to respect you if you don't show them what respect looks like in practice. Children learn by observing, and they are keenly aware of how you treat them, others, and yourself. If you want them to respect you, you need to model the behavior you want to see in them. One of the most fundamental aspects of leading by example is showing respect for others. Whether it's how you treat their mother, your friends, or even strangers, children take note. They absorb your actions more than your words. If they see you being rude, dismissive, or condescending to others, they will likely mirror that behavior. However, when they observe you treating people with kindness, fairness, and respect, they will internalize that and follow suit. Respect in the home starts with how you treat the world around you. It's also essential to show your children respect for their independence. As they grow, they will develop their own thoughts, ideas, and ways of doing things. Respecting their independence, even when you don't agree with their choices, sends a strong message. They are entitled to their opinions and decisions. This doesn't mean you should allow them to make poor choices without guidance, but rather that you should approach their decisions with an open mind and a spirit of understanding. Furthermore, respect yourself. Children look to their parents to learn how to value themselves. If you lack self-respect, through poor self-care, allowing people to walk all over you, or constantly putting yourself down, you send a message to your children that respect is not important. By respecting yourself, setting boundaries, and taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional needs, you show them the importance of self-worth and self-respect. Consistency is key when it comes to leading by example. If you show respect one day and act disrespectfully the next, your children will be confused, and their respect will be harder to regain. It's essential to remain consistent in your actions, even when emotions are high or stress is overwhelming. Your children will notice when you practice what you preach, and over time, they will come to respect you more for it. Equally important is holding yourself accountable. If you make a mistake or act in a way that you later realize was disrespectful, take responsibility for it. Apologize to your children and explain why your actions were wrong. This not only teaches them the value of accountability, but it also shows them that respect is not about perfection. It's about doing the right thing, even when you mess up. When you can admit your mistakes and work to correct them, you set an example that earns you respect in return. Finally, be patient. Rebuilding respect takes time, and there will likely be setbacks along the way. But by continuously modeling the behavior you expect from your children, you'll gradually see the shift. The more they see you embody respect, the more they will come to respect you too. When you lead by example, by demonstrating respect for others, respecting their independence, respecting yourself, and being consistent and accountable, you lay the groundwork for a deeper, more respectful relationship with your children. This approach doesn't just rebuild respect, it also strengthens the bond between you, fostering a relationship built on mutual admiration. Regaining respect from your children is not a quick fix. It requires consistent effort, reflection, and personal growth. By establishing boundaries, modeling respect through your actions, communicating openly, and leading by example, you create an environment where respect can flourish. It's essential to understand that respect is earned through mutual understanding, love, and care. As you invest in these practices, you not only regain their respect, but also build a stronger, healthier relationship that will benefit you and your children for years to come. Remember, respect is not demanded. It's cultivated through actions and intention.